There are places I remember all my life, though some have changed, some forever, not for better. Some have gone, though some remain, and I know I'll never lose affection for people and things that went before. I know I'll often stop and think about them. In my life, I loved you more. That was In My Life by the Beatles. I vividly remember jamming out to some Beatles tunes with my grandpa as he would take me and my siblings front and back to school and going back home. It was truly one of the best days of my life. Every time my grandpa would be at the house, it would always put a smile on my face. I always cherished him because of the way he inspired me. I always cherished him because of his love for my family and I. Fortunately, in 2021, we lost him, and what pains me the most is that I wasn't even able to bid my fairest goodbye. My lolo's passing taught me that whatever chance you get to show your family or to show any loved one that you love them, you should take. My lolo's passing taught me that you can't put time in a harness. I'm Christophe Sommereux, and this is What If I Could Have Said My Last Goodbye. Growing up, enjoy the pictures. Growing up, let's just say I was a bit uncomfortable being affectionate around my family. Siyempre nung bata tayo, di ba? Sobrang open tayo sa pag-kiss, sobrang open tayo sa pag-hug. But as you go through the puberty stage, it kind of gets awkward, di ba? So this is me, that's me and my siblings. So it came to a point where inaccept ko na lang na hindi ako affectionate. But the thing is, I really wanted to show my family that I love them. But for some reason, I just can't. It built up some self-frustration in a way. Tapos, unconsciously, na-project ko na pala yun sa family ko. So it affected my relationships within my family. It affected my role as a kuya. It affected my role as a son. And slowly but surely, nasa-sense ko rin na nagkakaroon na rin kami ng internal disconnect. But one relationship that I always cherished the most and was just different from all the others was my relationship with my lolo. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce to you my lolo, Sonia Reyes. That's me as a child. Sonia Reyes, he was a very witty, he was a very genuine, he was a faithful, he was a very wise man. He always was there when you needed him. He was always there to bring us pandesal in the morning. He was always there to bring us to school. My lolo was one of the people I loved the most. Although he was such a nice person, one thing I didn't like about him was he loved to smoke. And it came to a point where it was affecting his health. So the thing why I feel so connected with my lolo, let's start, was because the day I was born, he had a quadruple bypass surgery because of his smoking. So a quadruple bypass surgery, basically something to do with the heart. So in that way, I feel like fate bonded us. And from that moment on, we just connected like no one else. Fast forward to the pandemic. He was continuing to smoke, and he was hospitalized again for the first time since I was born. And he was a warrior. He fought through it, and he came back. Once he was dismissed, he had to live with my parents and I, and my whole family with Lola. And inevitably, it also caused some stress sa family namin. It came to a point where the sicker my lolo got, the more irritable he gets. The more he couldn't eat his favorite foods, the more he couldn't do the things he loved for us, such as cook, such as drive. So he was basically just there. Me, looking back at it, having built arrogance and entitlement from my childhood. Parang it came back to me at that moment. Hindi ko na appreciate yung lolo ko for being there, and I was just annoyed with the way he was affecting the family. Parang instead of positivity, he suddenly was making everything negative. So I shut myself out. I let my contentment go at the worst possible time. So there was this one very important moment during the pandemic. A month before he passed, he tried to call me on Messenger. I was going through an illness at the time, and medyo napipiko din ako dun. So dinecline ko. Had I known that would have been my last chance to talk to him, I would have taken it. Because after that, he was gone. After that, he was gone. I had taken my lolo for granted, and I remember myself just sitting there, blaming myself, and I couldn't really process it at the time. But I really wish I had, because he was very special to me. However, I do like to look back at the fun moments. I do like to look back at all the happiness. My lolo was a metaphor. My lolo was a metaphor for strength. My lolo had gone through quadruple bypass surgery. My lolo had gone through angioplasty. My lolo had gone through intubation. He was a warrior. He lived his last days with us, and even then, he'd always loved to make people smile. My lolo was a metaphor for love. To this day, every time I look at Zagu, every time I go to 7-Eleven, it always makes me think of my lolo. Because every Wednesday, he'd always pick us up from school, and he'd always spoil his sapos. No problem whatsoever. No problem whatsoever. And he was just that type of person. My lolo was a metaphor for comfort. I never felt a ray of judgment from him despite my bad behavior. He was always there to comfort me whenever I was down, and he always found a place in his already wounded heart to forgive me. So, that begs the question, what if I could have said my last goodbye? Thing is, I would have been contented. But if I had this not happened, I would have never realized that I had to change. I would have never realized how much I loved my lolo. And I would have never realized how much I could have done better. So, lolo, kung nakikinig ka man, I hope you're proud of me. I made this speech because I felt that it was the only way I could give justice for all the times I took him for granted. And I feel like this was the only way I could, creating this moment was the only way I could immortalize his memory with me, new Pete. Actually, naalala ko dati, when my lolo was still alive, he took us to Sunken Garden, and nag-bonding lang kami doon. And he told me na, kung makakapasok ka man dito, for sure baliw ka. So, lolo, I guess baliw nga ako. So, I just want to end with a quote that my lolo told me all the time. It's about contentment. Kung binigay sa iyo ang kamay, huwag mo agad-agad kunin yung buong braso. To this day, I still practice that. And I just want to say that whenever opportunity you get to connect with your loved ones, to tell them how much you love them, take it. Because you never know when the timer runs out. Di pa patapos. That's all for me. Thank you very much.